Hi everybody, welcome to the Radio.co demo and online radio Q&A. We're going to be starting very shortly. I'm going to guide you through how the software works in roughly about 30 minutes, and then we'll be covering some questions that you've asked or questions that you've asked live. So stay tuned and we'll be starting very soon. Hi everybody, welcome to the Radio.co live demo with me, Phil, from the customer success team. And as the name suggests, my job really is to kind of get you success in getting your own online radio station set up through us. So as I said at the top, my aim now is just to guide you through how to get started, really, how quickly, and actually easy our software is to use and to navigate around. So in about half an hour or so, I'm going to show you how to get started, how you would upload content, schedule that content for broadcasting, how you can monitor your audience, and kind of cover all the basics, but also cover some really interesting parts of our software that make it really innovative. And at the end, we'll be answering some questions that you've sent us beforehand and ones that you've sent in live. So wherever you're watching, if you do have any questions, please write them in the comments and I'll cover them. I'll cover as many of them as I can at the end. So let me jump onto my screen so you can all see it. Okay, so to actually get started with the Radio.co, it's incredibly easy. All you need to do is go to our website, go to the pricing page, and there you'll see all of our plans. We do 5 plans. We do our light, bronze, silver, gold, and pro. Each of them contain different allowances, different tools, kind of, different ways of getting off to the best start possible. And there'll be a button there that says Start Trial. We'll give you a free 7-day trial, and it literally just takes 3 minutes to get started. And once you have logged in, this is what you'll see, your Radio.co dashboard, or your homepage, essentially. So this gives you a general overview of what your station is currently doing. Obviously, it will be blank when you do create your station, but once you've filled it up and you're broadcasting, you'll see something that looks a little bit like this. So allow me to show you around. So first of all, this is the most important element. It's your on-air, off-air button. As I said, it's a button, you press it, and as soon as you do, our servers are then powering your station for you. So you don't need to constantly keep a computer on and connected to the internet 24/7. That's not necessary, as we'll keep your station on air 24/7 on your behalf. The only time you actually need your computer on is if you are broadcasting live, or if you want to just log in and make some changes to your programming. Otherwise, leave your computer off. Rest assured that your station's still on air. You can also turn your station on and off as often as you want. But we'll just keep it on for now. This information at the top, this will be relevant if you want to do any live broadcasting. So as well as allowing you to create pre-recorded automated shows, you can actually go live anytime you like. And this is the information you'll need to see. So here, first of all, is your connection status. So this is what shows, whether you as a host are currently connected. So I'm not doing a live show, which is why it says not connected. If I was, it'd say connected, and then it'd say live to show that whatever I'm currently doing online is going out on air. This will also count down the time I've got left of my current show, and while I'm not on air, it's telling me how long I've got until I'm next on air. And this way it says download broadcaster. So this is actually an encoder, or a broadcaster is another name for it. And what this does is this just takes an input you've selected and it pushes it on air. That input could be a microphone that's plugged into your computer. It could be a mixing desk. It could be a pair of a DJ turntables. Basically, you just tell the software where you want the audio coming from, and it will put it on air. So you need to open this up every time you broadcast live. This broadcaster in particular is for Windows users. So if you are a Windows user, that's what you need. If you're a Mac user, then you'll need to use something slightly different. There's a third-party one we recommend using called BUT, or B-U-T-T, and that will ask you for this information here, which you can find under the Connection Details button. There's loads more information about how broadcasting live, actually looks and how it actually works. So you'll find that on our Radio.co University on our website. But okay, so this is, again, sort of how we measure your particular plan. So each plan, as I said, comes with different allowances. The main ones that we measure are listeners. This refers to concurrent listeners, so the amount of people that can listen to your station at the exact same time. For context, this is our gold plan. So our gold plan, which is $99 a month or £80 a month, this shows you here you can have a maximum of 20,000 people listening at the same time. Bandwidth, that shows you how long people can listen to your station for over a month. So in this case, you have 50 terabytes of bandwidth. So as soon as someone starts listening to your station, they begin using up bandwidth. So this shows you how much you're currently using and how much you've got. And again, as context, 50 terabytes, that will let you broadcast, or rather, that will let people listen to your station on average for about 900,000 listening hours a month. So it's a huge amount of time, almost 1 million listening hours you've got there. So it's a great, loads of room there, and it's a great plan to have. And then storage. This is for your music, any jingles, adverts, podcasts, anything you want to play on your station needs to be uploaded, and this is where it'll be. It'll be on your storage. And then this is just showing you what's going out on air. So we've got, this is the track that's currently playing. These are the tracks that are previously played. This is what's coming up next. And in terms of our schedule, this is what's coming up within the next 24 hours. Okay, so uploading media. What you want to do is go to your media tab here. And at the top, it conveniently says add media. So if you click on that, you can select a file there or just drag any file onto this screen here. And I say any file, but as long as it's an MP3 or an AAC file, you can upload it. And if you want to upload any tracks larger than 200 megabytes, like for example, if you're uploading a 1 hour long DJ mix or a podcast maybe, then you will want to upload it via FTP, which stands for File Transfer Protocol. It's just a much more aggressive way of uploading media. You can upload many and large files very, very quickly. So your station comes with its own FTP information. And again, if you want to know more about how to upload via FTP, you'll find it on our Radio.co University under the Uploading Media video. Okay, so once you've uploaded tracks, they'll all appear in a similar fashion to this, and you'll see that almost all of these tracks have got these brightly coloured labels attached to them, and they're what we call tags. And tags, first and foremost, are a way of helping you categorise and organise your media. So, for example, I've split my tracks up into genres, so I've labelled these ones as pop, I've got some rock tracks, chilled tracks, jazz. I've also split them up into what kind of track they might be, so in terms of these are an advert. I've got some podcasts. I've got some jingles. You can type in anything you want because it's there to help you how you need help. So if I just highlight these tracks here. Okay. So say, for example, I was doing a Legends show. So I was just going to play a show every week that just played music by legendary artists like Bob Marley. So what I do is highlight my tracks here. I'd go to the top here where it says add and create tag. And you see a couple more that I've made here, like interview, classics, hard rock, rap. And what you need to do is just type in anything you want. So as I said, legends. Click on add. And there we go. It's now attached that tag to my track. So I now know I've tagged those tracks as legends. And the software knows that as well, because if I go to the tags tab here on the left, you'll actually see a rundown of all our tags, as well as how many tracks are associated with each one. So for example, I know how many 90s tracks, or most importantly, I know how many Legends tracks I've got there. And these tags can actually be used to help with your programming. You can use these in playlists. So I'll explain how that works when I get to the playlists. Recordings. So if you subscribe to at least our bronze plan, you can actually set your live shows to record. So then as soon as your live show is finished, as soon as you come off air, it's available then as an MP3 that you could download just for personal use. You could place it into a playlist and to repeat it. Or if it's a talk show, why not upload it as a podcast? And if you happen to have a Radio.co account, you can actually upload it directly to podcast.co. And if it's a music show, why not publish it straight to Mixcloud? So just a great way of recycling your content. Voice tracking. So this is another fantastic feature in at least our bronze plan. This will let you record your voice directly into a playlist. So it cuts out the middleman really. So instead of having to open up some audio editing software, recording something, exporting it, uploading it to your account, why not cut all that out and just record it directly into the software? So that's what voice tracking does. It just lets you record vocals up to 10 minutes in length. You can record as many as your storage will allow you to, and yeah, up to 10 minutes in length. So I'll show you how to actually record one very shortly, but this is where they all saved. Relays. This is a way to, if you want to play any content from another online radio station. So if you've got a friend, a colleague, or maybe you have several radio stations that you want to play that content across one station or many stations, you can actually set up a relay. And what this will do, this will just take the feed from another online radio station and you'll schedule it and it will just play whatever that station is playing at that time on your station as well. So I'll show you how that works again a little bit later. Talk shows, not to be confused with actual talk shows. You can do a talk show on any plan you like. What this does is this is just a more advanced way of actually recording a pre-recorded show. So with this, you will set up an online chat room, essentially. You would email this invitation URL to your guests or your listeners. If I click on Start Session, this is what you will see as the user. You select your input device. You'll wait for your callers or guests to arrive. You drag them into the room, and there we go. You can now hit record and record up to 60 minutes. So it's just a really great, convenient way of recording with people who could be on opposite ends of the world, which is obviously incredibly important this day and age while we, it's advised to stay at home and not socialise with anyone. So it's just a good way to make most of the current situation. And then we also have our news. So if news is of interest to you, you can actually automate news bulletins. So you need to choose the news source, put a bit of intro, a bit of outro music, or it doesn't have to be music, it could be adverts or top of our IDs for your station. You create the little bundle, and then you set how frequently you want it to play. And what will happen is every time it reaches, in this case, all day, every day, or, you can be very specific about the different hours and days, like so. And what this will do is every time it hits this particular hour on those particular days, the news will automatically fade in, start playing, and it will automatically fade out when it's finished. So again, if news is of interest, there is a way to automate it. Okay, so that's enough about features. Now, about actually creating your station. So the most important thing is, well, you've uploaded your content. So what do you do with it? You build it into a playlist. So this is what I'll show you now. So this is your playlist screen. This shows you all the shows that you've made. And this is for both music and talk-based content. It's just a way of broadcasting pre-recorded content. So you can see some shows I've got already. I've got 90s R&B. I've got a breakfast show. I've got an evening show. I've even got podcasts and talk shows there. So those are old talk shows and podcasts I want to play on air. Now, there is a playlist you will be given when you create your account, and it's this one. It's the default playlist. Now, this serves two really important purposes. The first job it does is it acts as a fail-safe. So if you or another host were doing a live show and your internet connection failed, or an emergency happened and you were unable to attend, then instead of your audience hearing, well, dead air and nothing, you can actually set the default playlist to automatically fade in and play instead. So the software will detect that there's been a technical issue somewhere on your host's or your DJ's end, and it will rescue it to make sure your audience are always listening to something. So that's really good. The other job that it does, it also automatically fills in any gap in your schedule. So it just means you don't have to create 24 hours of content every single day. But I'll show you that when I get to the schedule. But first of all, let me actually build a show. So here at the top, I'm just going to call this one, Thursday night show. Keep it nice and original. Give it a colour just so we can see it. Okay, a nice sort of, I'd say nice bit of a garish yellow colour there. If I click on add, what it would do is it then take you to your playlist builder screen. So you can see the name of the playlist and its current length. And to add a track to your playlist, all you need to do is click on the plus button next to every track that you want added into your playlist. So you can see as soon as I'm clicking on the plus button, it's jumping straight in. So here I've got a combination of music, jingles, ads, podcasts, anything you want. And you don't need to add tracks into a specific order because once they're in here, you can actually move them around as much as you want. So let's get that track there, move these around, just like so. So you can see it's very, very easy to actually build your show. Now, another way to build content is what I mentioned before, tags. So if I go to the tags tab here on the left, you actually see a list of all the tags that you've made down here. So say, for example, I wanted some 90s tracks in there, and I'm not really bothered about which ones actually play. What you would do is just take a tag, in this case 90s, drag it into the playlist. And what will happen here is when the software gets to this tag in the running order, it will actually play a random track that's associated with that tag. So it will play a track completely at random that has that tag. So I had 150 tracks I tagged as 90s. It will just play a random one out of that. It will also play another random one, followed by a random chill track. And the software is very clever. It will play every track associated with that tag once before it repeats any. So even if I put this tag in 150 times in a row, each time it will be different. The 151st time will be a track that's already played. And you can actually build a playlist completely made up of these tags if you wanted to. So as I'll show you now, if I just scheduled this playlist to play, maybe I scheduled this in for an hour. Then for an entire hour, it will just play a 90s, and a chill track. Then it will go back to the top, 90s chilled. And it will keep doing that. It will just play tracks completely at random for the amount of time you've asked it to play. So that's one way, or rather another way you can build your shows. As for content, if you go to the recordings tab, you'll find your old live show. So this is an old live show we did back in June. And if you want to repeat this, all you need to do is just drag it in. There we go. I'm now playing an old 2-hour-long live show within my playlist. Voice tracks, as I said again, this will let you record your voice up to 10 minutes in length. So if I want to record a voice track to introduce something, what I would do is just click on the microphone button here. It'll take me to my voice track screen. Click on this once and it will ask me to confirm which microphone I want to use, which in this case is this interface I'm using. Then I need to click on this a second time and it will start counting back from 10 minutes. So you can see it's currently recording everything that I'm saying through my microphone. So I could use this time to introduce a piece of music or introduce an old show, or I could just talk for 10 minutes. Or one way that people are using this is as kind of like an efficient way of recording adverts. So instead of having to go away and create an advert that has all the bells and whistles and explosions and sound effects on it, sometimes a simple sponsorship tag is all that is needed. So you could just record for 30 seconds an advert for a particular company. Just like that's what podcasts do. So that's one way to use it, and a way that a lot of people are using it these days. So if I click on stop, just like that, you can then listen back to it very, very shortly just to make sure it sounds okay. If I click on play and I like what I hear, I can just name it. Call this one, Phil demo session. If I hated it, I can click on clear recording and then start again. But yeah, in this case, I'm sure I like what I hear, so I'm happy with it. So I'm going to click on create, and it will then save and place it by default at the bottom of my playlist. Now, if I don't want it there, I can just move it around like so, or I can even get rid of it. So I click on the cross button. It's still saved at the top of my folder here, so it's just put in a couple of voice tracks to introduce different parts of the show. And there we go, a nice convenient way that cuts out the middleman so you can record voice content without having to leave the software. Now, I'm happy with this playlist, so what do I do with it now? I have to schedule it. So if I click on Save Changes, I need to get this playlist on air. So if I go to my schedule, this is what you'll see. So you'll see the different days of the week along the top and the different increments of time. And as I scroll down, you'll see everything that I've got on my schedule. And in fact, I've only got one show. I've got a live show, 9 till 12. Now, as I said before, that default playlist we have will automatically fill in any gap in your schedule. So you'll see there's a gap here every day between 12 and 9. So as soon as it hits 12, that default playlist will automatically fade in and start playing. So I had about 30 tracks in my default playlist, probably spanning 2 hours maybe. So basically every 2 hours it's just playing on loop. And it will do that until it reaches another program, which in this case is 12 till 9. Some people leave this schedule completely blank and they just update their default playlist every week. So that's one easy way of running a 24-hour station. Another way is just to build shows for every hour of the day, but that can be a lot of work. Or another way is just to build individual shows here and there and let us fill in the rest. So that's what I'll do now. So I'm going to schedule a show. So I'm going to have a show on air tonight from 9 till 11. So if I click on 9, I then need to scroll down with the mouse to the time I want the show to finish. So I'm going to finish it at 11. There we go. So I'm now just going to go over the information regarding this show. So you can see here, it starts at 9 p.m. It runs for 2 hours. Therefore, it finishes at 11 p.m. Now, currently, I've only got it scheduled for Thursday, but if I would like this to go out on air on another day of the week, I just need to select it. So it will go on a Saturday and a Tuesday, or every day if I want to do. So I'll select every day, and the software will schedule it for every day you've selected. You can then also repeat this booking on a weekly basis. If I click on week, I need to put in a random date that I want the software to schedule my show for. You can actually schedule a show up to 2 years in advance if you want to, but we won't go that mad. We'll just schedule it until 12 months in the future. So I'm going to schedule it every day, every week until the 1st of October 2021, which is a Friday next year. There we go. So I'm almost happy with this booking. I just need to confirm what kind of show this is going to be. So if I click on the Advanced tab, this is what you'll see. You'll see the event type. So if I click on Playlist, that simply means I'm going to play a playlist on air during this time. If I click on this, this is a drop-down option, and this is where you select what your playlist is going to be. Fortunately, it's in alphabetical order. So Thursday night show, right at the bottom, that's the one I want. So if I click on that, that means I'm going to play the Thursday night show playlist, 9 till 11, every day, every week, for the next 12 months. If I'm happy with that, I'm going to click on Create Event. And it will just take a couple of seconds, and there we go. That's 12 months worth of programming done like that. You can see here 9 till 11, Thursday night show playlist. So what will happen here is I've got my live show here. As soon as it hits 12 o'clock, there's a gap. So it's going to start playing my default playlist, and it'll keep playing that playlist continuously on loop until it gets to 9 o'clock. It will then fade out. This playlist will fade in, play till 11, and then it will automatically fade out, and the next program will start, which in this case is the default playlist again. That's how you do playlist. Just build it and then decide when you want it to go out on air. And again, as a show, good ways is getting these as placeholders. So obviously I don't want the same content going out every day, but what I could do is just schedule it for every day, and then as soon as this show finishes at 11, I could change the content in that playlist, hit save, and then by the time it gets to 9 o'clock tomorrow, it's different content, and it's already scheduled to save me doing it again. Now, if you want this to be a live show, you just need to do it slightly differently. So if I click on the event type, I'll click on Live DJ. That means, as it suggests, the software is going to expect a live DJ or a live host to be connected for that show. You just need to tell the software which user that's going to be, because it's going to expect that particular user. So this drop-down option, select who you want. It could very well just be you, but if you do want to invite others onto the account, I'll show you how to do that at the end. But for now, let me select James. He's going to host this live show. I'm also going to set it to record, because we've subscribed to at least the bronze plan, so I can record this and turn it into a podcast when it's finished. I'm happy with these changes, so I'm going to click on Update Event. But of course, if this is the first time creating it, it will just say Create. I'm just updating the one I've already done. And you'll see, to make an update to 12 months worth of programming, it just takes a couple of seconds. You can see here, 9 till 11, James is our live DJ. Now, if James has any technical difficulties, you can see exactly what our backup playlist is going to be. Something worth noting, to decide what your backup playlist is going to be, when you select a live DJ, the playlist you select here will be the one that will play in the event of a technical issue. So I can see as well, I know exactly what's playing, and I can also see that recording has been enabled. So I know, as soon as this show's finished, I've got it as an MP3 that I could repeat. So again, what's going to happen here is I've got a gap here from 12. It's going to keep playing. Now, James can connect up to his Radio.co stream up to 5 minutes before he's due on air. So he's going to get connected from 8:55. He connects via the broadcaster, and the broadcaster will tell him whether he's connected or not. If he has, he'll get counted down, and then as soon as it hits 9 o'clock, he'll automatically fade up on air, and he gets to full control to play whatever he wants until 11 o'clock. He will then automatically fade out at 11. So even if you or your other DJs aren't very good at time management, then don't worry, our software is, so we'll make sure your shows do start and do finish exactly when they're supposed to. So James doesn't need to turn anything off, he will simply automatically fade out, regardless of whether he's finished. And to delete anything, all you need to do is click on it and click on Delete Event. You can delete just the one you've selected, or in this case, we'll do them all. And you see, just takes a second or two. So incredibly quick, incredibly easy, incredibly efficient way of creating, editing, and deleting your shows. So regardless of how broad or specific you want to make your programming, it's very, very easy to do. Okay, the most important thing people ask us is, how do people listen to my station? There are a number of ways. The first way is by clicking on the Listen tab, and you'll see this. It's a standard URL that's dedicated to your station. This is automatically generated when you create your account. You could share this on social media, you could just email it to people, but what they'll do is they'll click on this, it'll take them to a blank page with a play button that simply plays your station. It's just an online stream with a play button. But that's one way to listen. You could also use this URL to send it to a number of internet radio directories, such as Streamer. They will accept URLs like this, and people can listen to your station through those means. Of course, there are more attractive ways people can listen to your station rather than this link. One of them is via a web player, which looks something along the lines of this. You decide what you want this player to look like. You just click on the Add Player button. You'll choose what shape, what size, what colour. Do you want it to display the cover art of anything that's playing, or just the branding for your station, or none of them, just a strange way like that? It's totally up to you. You can see different variations here. You will copy the embed code, you'll paste it onto your website, and then anyone who visits your website will listen to your station just like this. Another way people can listen to your station is directly through their mobile phones. So if I click on the add-ons, just jumping ahead, you'll see we have a number of add-ons. So you can build an iPhone and an Android app for your station. Both of these are included in our Gold and our Pro plan. Otherwise, you can add them on for an additional fee here. And I'll show you what an iPhone app may look like, actually. As I said, it's an efficient way of listening to your station because, well, we're all glued to our mobile phones. So why not make the most of that? Most important thing to note about these mobile apps, and anything like a web player or an Alexa skill, anything that is listener facing is 100% branded for you. People won't be looking for a Radio.co app, they'll be looking for the name of your radio station or your app. So you can see here, you'll name the app. You'll also choose what logo to display on the store and on the home screens. And inside here, this is a very basic version just to give you an idea, but you can change the color scheme for it. You can have an image or a color in the background, a logo for it here. This will display the cover art of anything that's playing. And you can also link people to social media pages or websites and such. So people can listen to your station, but also contact you through social media. So it's just a great way of making it really easy for people to listen to your station. They'll just go to the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store and download it. If you wanted to build a website through us, you can for another additional fee here. We'll give you all the tools to easily build your own website. And again, I mentioned it before, if you want people to shout into their Amazon Echo devices and ask Alexa there to play your station, they will do for another additional monthly fee. So we have statistics. So this is a way of monitoring your station's performance. So we keep all stats and figures for your station for a maximum of 60 days at a time. So we're currently looking at the last 30. So you can see here exactly how many people have been listening to my station, averagely how long people are listening for it. And because by default your station is available all over the world, because just through the power of the internet, we'll also tell you exactly where in the world people are listening to your station from. So we've got a huge audience here in Yemen and Uganda, the UK, Saudi Arabia and Germany. So whoever the most popular countries are for your station will be displayed there. We'll also show you how people are listening to your station. So here, a lot of people are listening from their Android web browsers or Google Chrome or desktop computer, TV, smartphone, smart speaker. So however and wherever you make your station available, we'll be there to monitor it. So you can see exactly where your audience is coming from. We'll also let you monitor your live audience. So here you can see we've got 2 people listening to this online radio station here. We've got one from Dorset and one from Nottinghamshire in the UK. You can see how they're listening, what they're using, when they connected, and how much bandwidth they're using, and actually how much time they've spent listening to your station. So it's a great way of monitoring your live audience and knowing where people are finding you right at this very second. Reports. This is mainly used for licensing purposes. So when it comes to licensing, we don't currently include licensing in any of our plans, so you would need to seek out a broadcast license independently. However, what we do is we help you help you keep your reports for your tracks, so you know that you've got the information those licensing organizations need to pay out royalties. And to do that, we go through your reports, so go to Reports, Track Summary, and you'll see it here. So we're looking at the last 30 days currently, or rather we will be shortly. And this will show you everything that you've played on your station within the last 30 days. This only applies to tracks that you've uploaded to your account and then subsequently broadcast. Anything that you're playing live, the software can't identify, so you will need to keep manual reports of everything that you're playing live. But anything that is automated, you'll see over the last 30 days, these are how many tracks have played, these are all the tracks that have played, how many times they played, and how many people actually listened to it. You can then download this report and send it off to the licensing organisation, and they'll then know who to pay and how much to pay in royalties. And again, if you need more information about licensing, you'll actually find we've got a really good in-depth article about it in our blog. So just look for licensing on our Radio.co blog. Settings. This is kind of for you to have a little play around with, really, but this is where you can monitor and change the sound of your station. So ultimately, first of all, the identity. What's your station called? What does it look like? Well, if you go right to the bottom, we've got a really cool feature here, our weekly digest email. So this is something we put together that saves you having to log in to track how well your station is doing on a week-by-week basis. If you turn this on, we'll email you every week to show you how well your station is performing, comparing it to other weeks that you've done. So it's just a really cool feature to consider putting on. Our broadcast settings. So this will adjust the crossfade, so smooth transitions between one track finishing and another track starting. You can adjust it accordingly here. Live anytime is a fantastic feature for the owner of the account. That means you, as the owner, you don't need to schedule yourself in. If you've suddenly got the urge to go live right at this very second, you can. You just need to open up the broadcaster, click on connect, and there we go. But you can only do that if you turn this on. So do that. It doesn't hurt to have it on all the time either. The audio stream quality, so you can adjust how good a sound quality your station is. So all of our plans will let you broadcast to 192 kbps, or really crystal clear, really nice CD quality of sound. If you are looking for something more, our Pro plan will let you broadcast up to 320, so an incredible, really good Pro studio sound. If you want people to listen to your station via mobile devices, rather through the web player or through that URL, make sure you click on. We have security measures in place so you can protect your station from people in certain countries listening to your station. That's really helpful for licensing. You can block people from certain countries from listening, or you can only permit people from certain countries from listening. We have the advanced settings here. This is again for you to play around with. But the best thing here is you can have album separation rules and artist separation rules. So you can prevent tracks from the same artist and the same album playing too frequently. And we also have billing information here. So we'll let you upgrade and downgrade your plan as often as you want. So whatever plan you take out with us doesn't necessarily have to be the one you'll finish on. If your station grows and you suddenly get a bigger audience than you perhaps anticipated, then why not upgrade? And you'll instantly get access to all the allowances on that higher tier plan. So yeah, upgrade, downgrade as often as you like, whenever you like. And then the last thing to show you is how to get other people onto your account. So whoever creates the account, in this case Alan, he's the owner. So he has access over absolutely everything. He's the only one on the account that can see billing information. Other people can't see that. So a station manager, that gives someone, James in this example, the exact same roles as the owner, apart from they can't see billing information. Music controller, that will let someone upload content, build playlists, schedule playlists, but they can't, they can do voice tracking as well, but they can't change any settings. And then a DJ, that just gives someone the ability to log in remotely, host a live show, log back out. So if you wanted me to be a DJ on your station, for example, don't know why, but if you did, you'd click on invite a user, you'd enter my name, so in this case, Phil, you'd enter my email address, then you'd tell me what role you want me to have, so in this case, we'll have DJ. I will then get an email to say I've been invited to join a Radio.co station. I follow those instructions, and there we go. I've now got my own unique login details that I can use to log in remotely from my computer from anywhere in the world. One thing to note with the DJ is a DJ can only follow the instructions that they've been given. So they can only go live when they've been scheduled. So that show we did before, 9 till 11, if I was supposed to host that, I could log in at 8 o'clock if I wanted to, but the software won't let me go live until exactly 9 o'clock. Likewise, it won't let me overstay my welcome. I'll automatically fade out at 11 o'clock. So just something to remember that DJs or anyone you invite onto your account can't take over it, essentially. They can only follow your orders. Well, there we go, everybody. That is a crash course, really. I know there's a lot to kind of cover over half an hour, but that's literally all it takes to really understand what's involved in running and setting up and broadcasting your own online radio station. So covered all the basics, and yeah, now it's time to answer a couple of questions. So if there's anything that I didn't answer, then now's the time now. I'm not going to have time to answer all of them, but I will try my best. So we sent out a form earlier in the week, so I'll go through a couple of questions on there. So Joseph Johnson, his radio station is America's Real Radio. His question is there a shuffle feature and a way to not play the same song or artist within a specific time frame in that playlist? Yes, so hopefully you've already seen the answer to this, Joseph, but I'll just run it over again. So essentially, a good way to do shuffle is if you go to the playlist. So again, we'll just go on the playlist I made earlier, Thursday night. So if you remember, a good way to do shuffle is through tags. because all you do is, as long as you take the time to tag all of your tracks, place these tags into your show, and it will be random. And because we'll play every track within that tag at least once before we repeat any, it will always be different. This is really good if you want to do placeholder playlists. So if you want to schedule a playlist every day of the week, why not enter different tags in, or just keep the same tags, because they should be different each time. So that's how you do shuffling. And to stop certain tracks or certain artists playing too frequently, a way to do that is what I briefly mentioned here in the advanced settings. I won't go too much into this because it can be quite confusing, so it's just good to really have an experiment with it. But what you want to do is the artist separation rules. What this allows you to do is you set how often a track by a particular artist is allowed to play, even in, shuffle feature. So it's very specific, 43 minutes, so it's just a bit more round up. So if I switch this on as it is, this means that any artist is only allowed to play once every 45 minutes. The important thing to remember about this is this will cover absolutely everything. So if you've got jingles you've uploaded and the artist of your jingles are your name, so in my case, if I've uploaded 20 jingles with the name Phil, it will also apply to that. So it will only play one jingle every 45 minutes. So to stop that, you can put the allowed tags in. So if I just type in jingle, then it means anything that I've tagged as jingle will not be affected by this rule. And the same thing applies to the album separation. If you want the same artist to play a bit more frequently but from different albums, then this is how you can do it here. But again, just remember to put certain tags in your allowed tags to make sure they are exempt. So I hope that's been useful for you, Joseph. Other question here. Jeff from Deal Talk Podcast. Why would a podcast want to go radio? I guess essentially a podcast is an on-demand radio show. It's a talk show that you've made, and that people can listen to anytime they like. But you can also, as I mentioned about the live recording feature, you can also use your live shows as a means of recording podcasts. So if you want a more interesting, maybe arguably more exciting way of recording your own podcast, why not schedule it live? You can then schedule your live show, set it to record, like a little time here, set it to record like so, and as soon as it's finished, I've then got a podcast that I could upload. I could also repeat it as often as I want on this show, and if you have got podcast episodes, then you've got content, radio content already at your disposal. So upload into your account and just get people to tune in as often as you like. It's a great way if you have got a podcast network or a lot of podcasts that you've recorded. It's just an alternative way of getting it available and having it available as a mobile app or an Alexa skill. Get essentially with a podcast and a radio station, you want to make it as widely available as possible. So that's a good way to do it. Michael Compton from Z98.5 FM says how to syndicate a show. So how do you syndicate a show is through relays. So if you have multiple radio stations, which you can do, each subscription will only let you have one radio station, but you can set them all up with the same email address. And if you do, there'll be a drop-down option that will appear here where you can instantly switch between what station you're currently looking at. So say you've got 3 radio stations and there's one show you want broadcasting out on all of them at the exact same time. What you do is you would schedule in a relay. So I'll take this one, I'll edit this. So I didn't show you this before. If you go on live relay, there we go. You then need to select one of the relays you've selected. In this case, there's a couple available here. And as a reminder, to add a relay, go to the Media tab, go to Relay, and click on Add Relay. It must follow certain criteria. If it's a Radio.co stream, it should absolutely work. If it's a Shoutcast or Icecast stream, or an MP3 and an AAC Plus stream. All you do is you enter the URL, you test the connection, it will tell you whether it's working or not, and you'll then save it. And the software will then recognize that that stream is valid. We can schedule that in. And what you do is you will go to the schedule. Again, we'll change this as a live relay. We'll select the relay we want. So yeah, Ryan Seacrest Show, why not? And what this will do is as soon as it hits 2:30, in this case, it will play whatever is playing on this link. It could be in the middle of a show. It could be the end of a show. It could be nothing. It will literally play whatever is currently going on that show. It also means that if that show has any technical difficulties and they drop and lose connection, it will play your backup playlist instead. So you'll be safe, them not so much. So that's how you syndicate a show. Just add them as a relay and schedule it in. And you can do the same with your content. People will typically need just your URL there if they want to syndicate your show. So there we go. I hope that helps, Michael. Jason from Soulmouth Radio. My station plays original independent artists. I get permission from each artist to play their music. Do I still need to pay licensing organizations? Typically speaking, as I said, with a license, if you plan to play copyrighted material, you should get a license. We strongly advise getting one. Of course, some artists aren't copywritten, or they're not signed, so arguably you don't need them. What I would recommend doing, I've said this to a few people, what I recommend doing is if you're playing any, underground artists, people who have not been signed or, don't have their music copyrighted, get written permission, as Jason seems to be here. Get written permission off them, which gives you permission to play their content on air. That means you've got something official in writing. If they were ever to get their music copywritten, then, you've got proof of an agreement there that they are exempt from any royalties or back payments or anything like that. So if it's anything copyrighted, yes. If it's not, or if it's talk content, original content, then it's not really necessary. But for the best information regarding licensing, do contact your local licensing organization. Rod from Radio Alti says, how can I grow my audience? So great way of growing your audience really is, as I said before, making your station as widely available as possible is the best place to start. It doesn't always have to be through paid means. Like, of course, having a mobile phone app or a website or an Alexa skill will vastly increase your online visibility. It just means there's more chance for Google pop-ups. But there are other free ways like social media. Create social media pages for all across all platforms, and that gives people just more opportunity to find your station. Once you've made your station more widely popular on social media pages, different apps and websites, internet radio directories, you want to create easy content for your social media channels. Really easy, really cheap contents. Things like putting memes. Memes is the biggest thing that's helping podcasts and radios and TV over the huge companies even over the past few years. Is just put things that make people a very quick retweet or a like, something that's funny, even something opinionated, a strong opinion like X is the favorite album by this artist or something like that, or just putting out cover arts of things saying happy birthday this. Just really, really cheap visual content will really boost your listenership and your interaction. And the more people interact with your station on social media, the more likely they are to follow you and start listening. We've actually got a great segment on how to increase your audience through content. It's actually on one of our old our request shows that we did. I think it's the first one we did. I'm sure Graham in the background, he can sort of share. This is the very first one we did where James Mulvaney, our founder, and Mike from the marketing team, they were talking a lot about content and that cheap content. Really easy stuff to do. So that'll be incredibly beneficial for you. More questions from the live chat. So Tom Kaesler, sorry if I've got your surname wrong, Tom. How can you schedule an ad break? So there isn't a tool, an official tool rather, of scheduling an advert break. What you would do is currently the best way to play ads on your station is just upload them as a standard MP3 file or whatnot, and upload that advert as a piece of audio, and then you place it into a playlist and schedule it within that playlist as often as you like. So currently we don't have a way of scheduling an advert block per se. What you would do is just add it into a playlist. You could put a couple of them together, and through the duration when you're building your playlist, as I said, you'll see the duration of your show here. Just every 20 minutes or so, just put your advert tag in or a specific advert in there. And again, once you've built it into a playlist and scheduled it, the software will play it as often as you have requested it to. So although not an official way to build an advert block, it's a very easy way. And on that topic of advertising as well, because we don't have any direct involvement in advertising, if you were to advertise, and you can, you get 100% of any revenue that you do make. So that's worth knowing. Let's have a look. Tony K said, I just wanted to ask if you could use the request widget whilst broadcasting live. That was something I didn't touch on, so I will do it very, very quickly. We do have a request widget. What you do is you will build this widget here, which can be embedded onto your website. You choose, again, the color scheme, what it looks like, and people will be able to pick tracks that you have uploaded to your account. So this is just for automated content. people can go on your website, find maybe 200 tracks that you've made available on this widget, pick what they want, they select it, get confirmation, and then it will get added into your request manager. There'll be an option then to add it to the queue, and you can then add it to your queue. You can also do it automated as well. There is actually a tag you can place into your playlist as well to add an element of automation to it. You can't, however, use it for live because it's only built for automation. So if you were doing a live, taking live requests, of course, when you're broadcasting live, you can play anything you want. And a good way of doing that is what I mentioned before about social media. Get people to interact with you on social media, because by interacting with you on social media, they're giving you free promotion. It's something visible that people can see, and it increased your online visibility. So ask people to send you requests on Facebook, Facebook Live, on Twitter, Instagram even. Get people talking on your social media platforms and do it that way, and take requests that way. So that's my strong advice for that. Scott, again, I'm very, very aware of the time. I'll take one more question here. This is from DJ Maverick. I would love the ability to broadcast from my iPad Pro and my USB-C mic. Is that possible? Yes, there's a couple of ways you can actually broadcast from an iOS device. We have an app called Pocket Streamer, which you can download for free off the Apple App Store, and that turns your iPhone and iPad into a portable microphone, essentially. You can broadcast directly from it, and it will click on Connect there. Here, and you're broadcasting. It's great for broadcasting on location. If you're obviously, we can't really go on location or go to conventions or interview people up close at the moment. But once this pandemic hopefully eases off, that will be something you will be able to do. But it's just a way of broadcasting directly from your mobile phone. As for actually broadcasting properly, I said with a microphone, as you mentioned there. You can, again, do it through Pocket Streamer, or there's another app called EasyCast. It's made by the same guy who made But, and it's designed for exclusively iOS devices. I think that gives you a bit more freedom, but not being too familiar with it, it may just do the exact same function as the Pocket Streamer, which I actually imagine it does. Do investigate that. Our app is free. That one I mentioned, the other one, EasyCast, you have to pay for it. So yeah, try out Pocket Streamer on the Apple App Store. Well, there we go, guys. I've run out of time. Thank you very much for your questions. I said it was great to get a good response beforehand, and I'm sorry I've not been able to answer all our questions here. If you do have anything that you do want to ask, whether it's something to do with your station in particular, or it's just a general question you have about online radio and our software, you can send us an email. Speak to me. Send an email to studio@radio.co. That's studio@radio.co. Any questions, any advice, do let me know. Any way that I can help to get your station on air in as little time as I showed here, I'm more than happy to do that. Take care, guys. Thank you very much. And I'll speak to you real soon. Bye.
Starting a radio station has never been easier. Click here and I'll take you to a free guide which shows you exactly how you can start a radio station with minimal fuss, no technical headaches, plus also start getting those all-important listeners. How does that sound? Click here and I will take you to my free guide.